Financial health is a spectrum, just like physical health, just like mental health. You're not good or bad with money. You're somewhere along the journey. When I work with clients, I always start here. Where are you right now? This is a snapshot of like your starting point, Because it's so important that we separate like our overall financial health and, the mistakes that we've made, especially from our identity. So having this conversation of like, hey, it's a spectrum and we're just seeing what our starting point actually is. I even created a quiz that I use with clients. It's like 13 easy questions and it helps you kind of identify where you're at. This is the financial health spectrum that I use with my clients. And again, it just helps really paint the picture. If we're in financial dysfunction, then we've got overdraft fees commonly, avoiding money, the debt feels really overwhelming. Your goal is going to be to like really build awareness. Look at your numbers, cover your basic expenses regularly, Financial instability stage, your bills are getting paid, but sometimes they're late. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm a few days late here, I'm a few days late here. The savings exists in theory, but you kind of transfer it back a lot. The debt feels heavy. You're still really reacting to those problems. The goals here are going to be to stabilize the cash flow. We want to reduce our reliance on debt overall and really build consistency within budgeting. In financial stability, your bills are getting paid on time. You even have a small emergency fund. You have a debt plan, right? And it's happening. You're kind of making those minimum payments. A lot of the time, this looks like a dead snowball, and you're really actually trying to track your money, right? So our goal here is going to be building that emergency fund, closer to that 3-month mark. Oftentimes this will start with like the first $1,000, the first like full paycheck, the first month of savings, etc. Breaking that down, and really paying down debt strategically. Again, this often looks like a debt snowball. Reach the financial security stage, your emergency fund is solid, your debt is fairly low, and it's really under control. You're investing, obviously, and you can handle these unexpected expenses. The goal here is going to be aligning your money with longer term goals, right? Thinking about increasing investments, thinking about like starting to build wealth very intentionally. Financial empowerment is such a great stage too, and like really seeing clients move into this is amazing. You're building wealth consistently, you have a high credit score, you've really optimized your systems, you really see money management as like just this practice, you feel really confident when making those decisions, and your spending at the end of the day like aligns with your values. You don't feel any issue with setting boundaries with that. The goal here is really maximizing on those investments, right? Making really strategic wealth moves. Finally, everyone's favorite stage, your financial freedom stage. Your passive income is covering all of your expenses. You really have multiple assets. You can completely live off of your portfolio. Viewing financial health as this spectrum allows us to really lean in and understand like, okay, well, if this is where I'm at, what do I need to do to increase this, right? There's a lot of that neutrality that can happen. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. When we're able to lean in with our money and look at it without feeling that avoidance, that shame, that like judgment, etc., then you're going to make long-term transformation.